Now, this morning, hundreds of thousands of students who sat for the 2017 KCPE exams are reporting to various schools countrywide as Form 1s. Many, if not all, have dreams, big dreams to transform their motherland. But sadly, thousands may never step in secondary school because of school fees. Still, some of those who are joining Form 1 today will drop out and forget about education because of school fees. And over the years, the trend has been the same across schools, colleges and universities. Interventions such as bursaries through the constituency's development fund have not borne much, and with tough times ahead, including expensive ugali, more parents will probably not afford to pay school fees for their children, even with the government subsidy. So what options should parents pursue to overcome school headache? Welcome to Your Money. And joining me in studio to steer that conversation to my immediate left is Waithaka Gatumia, who is the General Manager of Centonomy. Thank you very much for joining. And Monica Onyancha, yes, who is a teacher and also a parent. Thank you very much for joining us here on Your Money. But before that, I want us to listen to President Uhuru Kenyatta on free secondary education.
The government has already released approximately Kenya shillings 30 billion to all secondary schools in the increased capitation plan of supporting each and every learner with up to Kenya shillings 22,400 to ensure that secondary education is accessible to all our children, and to ensure that we have equity across the country in terms of availability to education, and equally to ensure that, as was there before, children who were still not of age and who could not access secondary education are now able to access basic education until they are of a mature age.
All right, we'll go straight to it, and I'll start with you, Monica. What has been your experience as a parent, as a teacher, when it comes to school fees, especially at the beginning of the year?
Now, sometimes they call it in January, they give it a name.
Yes.
It's not easy.
It is.
It has never been easy. And I believe all parents out there will say that. Now, every other time school opening dates are shown, we are usually confused. So where do we start from? Because it comes with the charges that we have to embrace. We've got to buy the books, we've got to buy uniforms, we've got to buy every other thing, depending on where your child is. If your child is in a boarding school, you need the basic necessities. If your child is in a day school, you still need the books, regardless of the fact that, yes, the government is saying it's subsidizing.
Yes.
Sometimes they give core subject books. So these are the books that the government buys. Now we have these other subjects. We have music, we have home science. The government never buys these books. So this is upon the parent to buy. Okay. So as a parent and as a teacher, I want to express my disappointment in the opening dates. We usually don't find it easy. We have to dig deeper in our pockets. So it's not such an easy challenge. Okay,
so what would you prefer? You said the opening date is quite stressing. So
exactly.
What would you prefer it to be?
No, of course, yeah, I would prefer it not to be stressful. I mean, yes, it should be better than what we find it.
Okay.
Because every other time, we have to get into our pockets to be able to actually make it a reality. That if your child must go to a school, you have to get your pocket right. Yeah.
All right, I'll come to you, Waithaka. Now, you are the General Manager of Centonomy. You deal with a lot of financial planning.
Yes.
Now, this, most of the times, January, as she called it in January, is because of the festive season. But before we get to that, if you can just explain to our audience, what is financial planning?
Well, it's almost self-explanatory if you think about it. It is planning your finances.
Okay.
Because many times we kind of go on autopilot and expect that everything should work out the way we hope it would work out. We expect that life will just happen. And so rather than that, it is about being purposeful with your money, being purposeful with your time and energy, and those are the things that actually create the money that help us to run our lives, at least in the society that we have right now. So it is being purposeful. That's what financial planning is saying. I have children to educate in this year. I have to plan for them. I have to buy food. I have to pay rent. I have to do all those different things. So rather than just going through the motion, actually planning and saying, how do I achieve my goal? That's what financial planning is.
All right, allow me to go through the guidelines that was provided for the implementation of the free secondary education. You have 2 kids joining Form 1 this year, yes? Now, the parent obligation is parents will continue to meet the following cost: school uniform, boarding-related costs as reflected in the boarding school fees structure, lunch for the day scholars, other projects of infrastructure upon approval by the CEB in consultation with the BOMs and PAs, clears their fee balances for continuing students prior to January of 2018. Now, this is just for your 2 kids, yeah? Not forgetting you have more.
Exactly.
First of all, I would want to know, how have you done it just this January? Last year has been very tough for almost all Kenyans. The past few months have been tough. So as a parent, how have you done it this January?
So what happened? Before the January came, I had to organize myself. So we sat down with my husband and said, now, this Christmas, there is likely to be no mbuzi because January is coming.
Yes.
So what we did, as he's saying, financial planning, we said we have to make it a little bit bad, ugly, or so to say, because we have to project for what is coming in January. So we set aside some money that we thought would help, and money that would capture what you've said there, that is not easier done as said. Just as you're talking about the lunch, the BOM terms, and the blah, blah, many things that have been put there. They're usually inflated.
Okay, just before you continue, she mentioned bad, ugly.
Yeah.
What can you do to ensure it doesn't get to that point?
I probably might use a few different words.
Yes.
You see, the thing is, we make choices. Every single day we make choices, one thing over another. And I applaud you and your husband, especially at this time, because you made a choice for your children. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And many times you think about it, the stories that you hear about the last generation, our parents and our parents' parents, and the sacrifices they made to allow us to be able to get our education. So I know it means that maybe it wasn't the most elaborate Christmas, but I think they spent time as a family together. They probably did eat a meal. Maybe there wasn't as big a mbuzi there. Maybe they ate a kuku instead of a mbuzi at that time, which is not bad. But the point is they made a beautiful choice for their family. And that's what financial planning is. You're saying, this thing is a priority over this, and therefore I'm going to organize myself. Versus others who may have made the mistake, and I've made that mistake myself in the past, where you've said, let's just enjoy December. You know, you just enjoy, you go, and then January comes, and it is truly in January. Because you're trying to find out what is going to happen. So the amazing choice that they made as a family was to say, look, January is coming. Our children must go to school. This is important to us. Let us plan for it. And then everything else after that, now you enjoy based on what you have left. That's financial planning. I applaud you and your family. Because you know what? For everyone in this country, we're facing the same situation. But the choices that people are making are different. And that is where the difference comes. And success, by the way, is on the way for you and your family. Your children are seeing the actions you're taking, and they will find success because of that.
All right. You know, as children growing up personally, you know, you'd miss Christmas comes. You know, you're getting a new outfit, first of all. There's one for Christmas, one for Boxing Day, and one for New Year. How do you juggle all that? You're a mother of 4, right?
Exactly.
So how, you know, I'm trying to understand, there's family, there's bills of not just January, but there is December, there is now January. Then there is budgeting for Christmas. And then there is kids who do not know what being broke is. Exactly. You know, you cannot explain, as much as you try to explain to a child that, you know, there is no money, it is very hard for it to sink. They don't understand why others have and you don't have. How did you deal with that as a parent?
Exactly. The reason as to why I called it ugly. Because just getting them to understand that, all right, now this is happening. And you see, instead of us, now we want to look for the clothes, but we want to judge. Now you see, Rachel is the one who guides them on what to choose and not to choose. Excuse me, Rachel, now tell them that one is better. Now you're doing it from your inner knowledge that I'm just saying that one is better because in any case, yes, it's not better, but it's going to make my life easy.
Yes.
So I'm calling it ugly because in as much as we are doing it, really, he is calling it a better choice.
Yes.
But we are doing it because we are forced by circumstances. You don't have a choice. So the thing is, sometimes you say, Kambaya. It's either they understand. Exactly, yes. They either understand or if really they're not going to understand, then God forbid, at least January will not be so stressful.
Yes.
Correct. So the thing is, talk to your children. Our children are very good. When you talk to them and let them come into your shoes in a nice way, you really don't have to tell them, excuse me, I don't have money, and please, you know, January, you're going to school.
Yeah.
And of course, they won't understand.
So
and in as much as we still talk to them and tell them, hey, excuse us, you see, daddy doesn't have money, and you see, mommy, they really still don't understand.
Yeah.
The other ones, like my young son, will tell you, mom, si uende kwa ATM na ukifinya hivi pesa itakuja.
Bonyeza tu.
Pesa itabonyeza. Now, finding myself in such a situation, I have to let the baby know that, hey, mom really doesn't have money.
Right.
It's not so easy, but we can nicely talk to them and they can understand.
All right, we want to take a short break here on your money, but don't worry, we come back. And when we come back, we're going to break it down for you. How exactly do you balance all those expenses from school fees to utilities to saving? Don't go too far.